the Shadow Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, has claimed that the Tories are not the right class of people to be running Britain because of their public school smallness.
He claimed that Deputy Leader Angela Rayner is someone who gets it and will resonate with people.
So I'm sort of feeling that he's saying that more common people or something like that. So do the Conservatives represent you? Joining us now is the politics editor at Huffington Post UK, Kevin Schofield. Kevin, do you agree with any of this language, that they're the wrong kind of people? That sounds a bit wrong class, even.
No, it's an odd thing for David Lammy to say. I think you can take issue with your political opponents' ideas, with their outlook, with their policies. But I think having a go at their background is a way of saying that somehow bars them from public office, I think, is pretty low. I mean, sorry, excuse me, I'm a slick frog in my throat. I mean, you only have to look at the public have voted for, inverted commas, posh people to be Prime Minister not so long ago. Boris Johnson, everyone knew that he was an old Etonian. Likewise, David Cameron, and yet they were happy to make them Prime Minister. So I don't think the British public see it that way. They look at people on their merits and think, if you are the best person for the job, then we'll elect you, regardless of whether you went to a comprehensive school or a really posh private school.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, Kevin, isn't it? I mean, people are complaining in this election that they don't see the charisma in either of the two major party leaders. And yet, obviously, they did find Boris, either because of or despite his Etonian background, to be charismatic. I wonder also, though, whether any politician can really claim to be working class once they've risen to their position. I mean, I was looking at David Lammy's CV, educated at Lincoln's Inn and Harvard. I know that he was brought up by a single mother, but doesn't his education kind of remove him from the class into which he was born?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on your definition of working class. I suppose the people, if they're born in a working class household, do they remain working class for the rest of their lives, regardless of where their career takes them? I'm not too sure. I just think it's a kind of comment that that voters they just shake their head at. You know, they're not looking at really Rishi Sunak's education. We do see polling, you know, that he's very wealthy. People know that. However, I think the idea that somehow other members of the cabinet are unsuited for high office simply because they went to private school. I mean, there are some, not many, but there are some on the Labour front bench who are privately educated as well. By David Lammy's thought process, does that mean that they somehow don't get it as well? I mean, I know that Mr. Blair, for instance, he went to a very posh private school in Edinburgh. But I dare say that Mr. Lammy was a very strong supporter of Tony Blair. So, you know, I think it's more to do with the colour of the rosette on their lapels. I think that Mr. Lammy takes issue with rather than their educational background.